Welcome to Real Estate Powerhouse, live on Tab Talks with your host, Taliya, top real estate attorney and negotiation expert. This is your opportunity to get the inside scoop and hear straight from top real estate agents in the business. Broadcasting live from New York City, learn the secrets of their success and hear the most authentic, real, unfiltered stories about how they got to where they are today. From their wins to their failures to the biggest lessons of their careers and what keeps them rising to the top. And now, here is your host attorney, Taliya.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Real Estate Powerhouse, live on Tab Talks. Today we have Kelly Robinson with us, real estate agent extraordinaire in New York City. Welcome to the show, Kelly.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, my pleasure. So excited to have you here today. We're just going to jump right into it. And I'd love for you to tell our viewers and our listeners a little bit about your background and how you got started in the real estate biz.
Okay, so I've been in real estate, residential real estate in Manhattan for 18 and a half years. I kind of fell into it accidentally. I was in the entertainment industry from the time I was a very young child till right after college. And then I decided to take a little break for 1 year. And I got my real estate license just at the recommendation of a friend, fell in love with it, and never went back to what I was doing before.
Oh, wow. Okay. And that was 18 and a half years ago?
Yep.
Wow. So you've seen the highs and the lows of the market, you know, when the bottom fell out to probably during its peak. So you more than anyone, I'm sure, can really, relate to today's, crazy market that we're going through. But it seems like you've weathered the storm.
Yeah, I mean, in these odd markets, and every down market is a learning experience, and every down market is different. I call them skill markets because it's a time to hone your skills and become more creative and better as an agent or a broker.
So true. And I think it probably makes you a lot stronger of an agent as well, when you could just power through the highs and lows and stay in the game,
Yeah.
So it's a testament.
Yeah.
So
and
what
it
do you
also teaches you about financial planning.
Sure. All right. So what skills, I can definitely relate to that. What skills have you really obtained during those markets? And what do you think it really takes to kind of persevere?
I think each market, like I said, is different. Every time there's a downturn or, a difficult market, it's always different. So you have to learn something new. I guess, for example, during COVID, instead of trying to pitch people, I instead reached out to my contacts and asked them if there was anything I could do to help. And I think building relationships and just really strengthening and nurturing those relationships when, it's a little bit slower, or there's no inventory like there is, now, is really the best thing you can do, because this business, if you have strong relationships, you will succeed as long as you know what you're doing. If you're a transactional broker, then you'll fail.
Yeah.
Or you'll wear yourself out. Yeah.
Yeah. And real estate is a people business. A lot of people don't, realize that all the time, but it's those relationships that are really going to carry you through. And that's really going to scale your business. It comes down to the relationships with the people. So I'd love to hear, when you got started in the real estate business, did you go right to sales? Did you start with rentals? Did you join a team? Were you solo? Tell us a little bit about that experience.
So I was solo. I started out doing rentals for a year, pounding the pavement, sweating, running around, and I really wanted to break into sales. And I knew that was hard to do in New York City if you'd only had rental experience. And so I joined a team. I was on a team for 4 years, and then I joined another team for a year and a half. And then I went on my own and ended up having so much business that I had to form my own team.
Wow. Okay, wonderful. That's great. So what do you like better? I mean, are there pros and I'm sure there's pros and cons to both. What would you say to any agents, really getting started and trying to get out there as far as going solo or joining a team?
I think, learning the rental business is important, and starting out doing some of that really kind of puts hair on your chest and makes you resilient, because it's a, tougher, kind of sleazier part of the industry.
Mhm.
I suggest that people join a team. I think that it's the best and fastest way to learn and get your feet wet. And I wasn't necessarily treated very well on the teams that I was on, but it taught me so much, and I wouldn't trade those experiences for the world.
Okay. All right. I love that. No, it's like if it doesn't kill you, it's going to make you stronger. So, and then
Yes.
especially in such a competitive town like New York City, where it's like dog eat dog and you have to really fend for yourself out here, it's important to gain that thick skin.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think it's also important to learn not only what to do, but what not to do. And I think I learned both. And I think I really learned how important it is to cherish and appreciate the people on your team and how hard they work and
Mhm.
treat them well.
Yeah, yeah, that's so true. And that's only going to further your success. And because if your team wins, you win. It's like one for all and all for one. And that's so important, especially in this business too. It's and you will really maintain your team members and those partnerships, and people won't leave you. You know,
Yeah,
which is key. So tell us
absolutely.
a
I
little
think.
bit about. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to say, I think having longevity on a team is really important, because it can be extremely disruptive when things fall apart constantly and you've got high turnover in any industry, of course, but
Yeah,
especially in a business where you're running your own business and you've got certain systems in place and you've got to retrain everybody on those systems all the time.
mm,
It's longevity is really key, and it's kind of like being in a little family. We
yeah.
all look for each other and check in on each other and help each other, and it's really nice to have
Yeah, and
that.
that loyalty is so important, too, because it's like you have each other's back. And let's say one person, isn't able to take their client out or whatever, then you guys are there for each other and somebody will pick up the ball and run with it. And then it takes the onus off of you from having to do everything.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, another thing is that I learn from my team members as well. I don't just mentor them. Every deal is different,
Yeah.
and everybody has a different way of handling clients. And I learn from my team members every day.
Hmm. All right. And how do you recruit for people that are looking to like recruit team members? How do you do it?
You know, in the past, I've just networked and met people and had relationships with people, and it kind of happened that way. The most recent few team members were just came through a post that I made that I was looking, or just came to me directly and said, "Are you looking for a new team member?" Or came to me through a referral, which is
Oh,
really nice, because when you have somebody that comes to you through a referral, it just
yeah.
gives them you know, that much more credibility.
Yeah.
And in this industry, it's easy to take responsibility or credit for deals that you haven't done. And when you have a referred person, you know a little bit more about how they've done in the past ahead of
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, exactly. You have the inside scoop. So it's not just like raw and, figure it out as you go along.
Yeah.
And now, what's the nature of your business? So, do you focus more on buyers? Do you focus more on sellers? Do you like to do new development? Like, is it a hybrid? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it's a hybrid. I've done all of the above. And we also handle rentals for our investors.
Mhm.
Um, I focus a lot on people who are in the sports and entertainment industries. I'm in the sports and entertainment division of Compass, which is a group of about 150 agents across the nation who have to be vetted and interviewed multiple times. to make sure that you have done a number of deals within the sports and entertainment industry and understand how to handle that type of client and
Yeah.
best serve them. And it's great because, people on teams get traded all the time. Entertainers are in different cities all the time. So we actually do quite a few high-end rentals because a lot of times those people are just in town for a short amount of time. And then eventually, many times they'll buy.
Okay. Yeah. So sounds like you're really a part of the luxury real estate market. So would your background in the entertainment industry, is that really what gave you the leg up into that luxury market? And what's the best way to break through?
Yeah, I think it gave me a leg up because I remained friends with so many people in that industry over the years and maintained my relationships. In fact, I'm still friends with one of my agents from when I was 15.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah, so it's all about relationships and then networking. I like to throw events and I like to host people and give back, and I've just been able to network really well at different events and have gotten even more into the sports side of things as well and educating athletes, not going after them for their business, but educating them on how to build passive income through real estate investments and just giving to them and not expecting anything in return, knowing that whether they come to me for business or karma takes care of me, that,
Yeah.
I'm doing something for them and that makes me feel good.
Yeah.
I think the best way to sell is to just give, or the best way to
Mhm.
be a good salesperson is to just give and not expect that.
Right.
Doesn't put people in an uncomfortable position. People, you know, are more open to a relationship with you.
Yeah. And I think they value and probably appreciate the fact that it's not like you have your hand out. You really are there to give value and to, contribute something to their life that is going to make them better, and their, pockets deeper, at the end of
Yeah.
the day with, with all the advice that you're giving with investments and, yielding strong returns. So I think you're definitely right. It comes back around full circle, and whether it turns into a deal or not, that you've affected somebody positively.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what life is about.
Mhm. And so some people would say that, in the high luxury market, that clients tend to be a little bit more high maintenance. What do you think the skills are, that you really need to handle clients, at that echelon?
I think you need to understand their business. I think you need to understand their motivation, like any buyer or seller. I personally, aside from, technicalities and things like, that you absolutely need to know with regards to those specific industries and how, a distance may affect them. Like one of my colleagues in the sports entertainment division made a great point and said we have to study traffic patterns with athletes because if there's traffic at one point in the day and they're late to practice, they get fined. So, just understanding those little details is important.
Mhm.
But other than that, I treat people like they're, anybody. Um, and I treat everybody with kindness. So I
Mhm.
think if you treat everybody with kindness and you add value and you have your data and your facts and
Mhm.
you also learn to understand what type of a personality they have, I think that's
Mhm.
more important than necessarily being luxury or not. I found that many of my highest maintenance deals are the smallest ones because those people need the most hand holding in the starter home market. And I
Yeah.
enjoy those as well. We do everything. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think as long as you really come prepared and offer value and are kind,
Yeah.
but with boundaries, right? You have to be able to
Sure.
be a good negotiator, as
Yeah.
you know, as a successful attorney. So
Yeah.
I think those are the skills that you need.
Yeah. And it's so true. Like you said, it's if you put everybody in a box, regardless of how much money they're spending or, multi-million dollar purchases, and you just treat everybody the same with respect and with kindness, then you are what you give, so, and people will appreciate that. And I tend to agree with you because it's funny because I feel like my, highest net worth clients that are spending the most money, they're just like, tell me where to wire the money, tell me when to show up, and handle the rest, and it's like the smaller deals, you're right. Those people are just, it's 1,000 questions, which I love because I love also just, educating and informing people, but, they are, tend to be a little bit more, high maintenance. So it's funny that you say that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And your territory. So do you try to expand, everywhere throughout the boroughs and the city, or do you tend to focus in the city only, or what's your territory?
So I focus in Manhattan, all of Manhattan.
Okay.
And I do a little bit in Brooklyn. I have a Brooklyn specialist on my team. I have a Queens specialist on my team. I have somebody on my team who focuses on the North Fork and the Hamptons.
Okay.
I also am to be licensed in Miami, and I'll be licensed in Dubai in the spring.
Wow, phenomenal. Look at you. So you're going global. That is really cool. So how did you manage to expand your reach, to Dubai? And have you been there multiple times? And how do you learn the market there?
I've been there once. I was there for quite some time, and I am still learning the market there, but it's pretty straightforward. I have a lot of connections just from networking. Again, like that's just, something I do really well. And what I'm doing over there made sense. I'm not going to be necessarily living there and running around showing real estate, but it's a great way to connect people in my network who tend to spend a lot of time, whether it's in, Dubai or Abu Dhabi or, Qatar or somewhere like that. It's, they're very, these places are very much the future as far as, industry is concerned. And so people are going there, and they're going there for other reasons too, like crime and, taxes and stuff like that.
Taxes. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's like becoming the hub for a lot of, businessmen, and women, a lot of, financial, just people in the industry. And I think you're right. I think that's a great kind of relationship, like Miami is to New York. Now it's like Dubai to New York, and you just become the triple threat. So that's amazing. That's super cool. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Well, we are going to take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back with part 2 of the show. So we will see you guys in a few. Whether you are a new buyer or a seasoned investor in the real estate market, you need top legal representation and expertise to ensure your transactions close smoothly and successfully. As someone whose priorities are communication, attention to detail, efficiency, and creative negotiation, TAB Law Firm provides hands-on, personalized service that focuses on clients' needs and peace of mind. After working with big corporate law firms, I realized their focus was on volume rather than nurturing and protecting their clients. I then decided to start my own firm 15 years ago to provide exceptional, personalized service that protects and informs my clients every step of the way. Most of my clients are looking for guidance, transparency, and clear communication throughout their real estate transaction. Making myself available to my clients is one of my top priorities, and my expertise allows me to foresee issues before they happen and avoid potential downfalls. This proactive approach safeguards my clients from incurring any additional expenses, delays, or stress. During the selling or buying process, efficiency is key. I keep all parties informed and organized, ensuring we close smoothly. I fancy myself as a deal maker, not a deal breaker. If you are looking to buy or sell real estate, or if you are a real estate broker looking for an attorney who's going to be communicative, efficient, and responsive to you and your clients, then contact me at Tali360.com. And let's start working together. Close with TAB and feel fab. All right. Welcome back to the show, everyone. Kelly, thanks so much for being in the studio today.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I want to talk a little bit more about, we've talked a lot about the business side, which was great, but I want to hear a little bit about you from, the personal side. Like, do you have a specific routine or a methodology? Like, how do you maintain the work-life balance?
Huh. What's work-life balance?
Does it exist? I don't even know.
I think I'm still trying to figure it out. As real estate brokers, we work 7 days a week, and it's just how it is. But the nice thing is that if I want to go away for a month when the season is slow, I can, as long as I stay in touch with people. I'm on top of things. I get up at like 4:35 in the morning.
Wow.
I watch the news, I read a little bit, and I take my dogs out, I work out, and then I get ready for my day, whatever that looks like. It changes every single day. It's different depending on showings and whether I'm working with a buyer or showing listings or on Zoom meetings or what have you. So,
Yeah.
it depends. And then I network when I can. I mean, I do like to go to bed at 9 o'clock because I wake up so early, but I also
Right.
network a few times a week because I think it's important. And so, whether I'm out at a dinner with a few clients or just hosting something for people or even just doing an event at one of my properties, I try to do that a few times a week and then sleep in.
Okay. Yes. You definitely need to catch up on that sleep considering you're up at 4:30 a.m. That's like,
Yeah.
wow, that blows me away. But I'm more of a night owl than an early bird. So it's like, I like to stay up late and um, sleep in a little bit. Not a little, but 8:30, 9 a.m. That's when I make it into bed.
Which is great. I wish I could do that sometimes. And, different people get their energy at different times of the day. I kind of wish that I got my energy a little bit later, but that's
Yeah.
just how I'm wired, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly right. And what about like time management? Because there's so many theories out there that, blocking off a certain amount of hours just for yourself, whether it's, just kind of like self-care or rejuvenation or, mental stimulation, whatever it may be, yoga, whatever it is. Do you ever do any time blocking? Because clients can be at you all day long, every day with their needs. Like work will never stop. It'll never shut off unless you
Yeah.
take the time out to shut it off. And I have a very hard time doing that because I'm a pleaser. So I always just want to be available and say yes and pick up my phone and, all of those things. How have you really juggled that?
I'm similar to you where I want to be a pleaser and people appreciate the fact that I'm very quick to respond to them. I think
Yeah.
it really depends on who and what type of people I'm working with at any given time. I like to work with people in the way that they like to be worked with.
Mhm.
So, most people understand that if you get back to them in an hour, they're not going to be upset with you, or you might be on appointments with somebody else. Um, there'll be a couple of hours throughout the day where I will just, do work and not focus on emails. And then I'll take, a half an hour and go through my emails and go through my text messages. But there's never really a set time for that because, as you know, in this business, it just depends on what times people are looking at properties and when they're available, and you have to be available for them. But I do try to cut out some time each day.
Mhm. Okay. Okay, good. So there's no like day off, like Sundays, like my day, my personal day. I'm not even looking at my phone today. It doesn't sound like you operate like that.
No, I mean I don't, but Saturdays are typically the slower day in Manhattan
Okay.
for showings, and so
Okay.
Saturdays are usually my day. And I have a team, so my team members typically do open houses for me on Sundays. So there are times when I get a free weekend, but I'm always on.
Yeah.
There's somebody that needs something, and I don't mind. I really don't.
Okay. All right, good. Okay, fantastic. Well, I guess that's why you're so successful and you've had such a great run in this business is because, you manage it all. Now, what would you say over the course of the years would would have been your biggest game changer for you, where you're like, you know what, I finally feel like this was the turning point in my career. This was the best thing that has happened for me. What was that for you?
I think it was when I went off on my own after being on teams, because I was just relying on myself. I wasn't relying on any leads from anyone. I had always brought in my own leads on teams. I think that was a big turning point because it was a little scary, but it was time.
Yeah.
And I think now I look at my team and I really want them to succeed. And so now I'm focused on getting them leads as well. And
Mhm.
so, I want everybody to eat. And um,
Yeah.
so, I think that going out on my own and then being responsible kind of, or feeling responsible for other people a little bit, even though they are expected to bring in their own business,
Sure.
was the turning point for me. And once I was able to do that successfully, I felt relief, and I felt like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah. Okay. That's the beautiful thing, and it's like just being able to step out on your own and having nobody to answer to, and also nobody over your shoulder, is just like being your own boss is the best thing ever. When I left the firm life, I was just, they say, yes, you work, harder when you work for yourself, but it's actually the most like liberating and rewarding experience as well. So I definitely, kudos to you for having the guts and, the confidence to actually just go out on your own and make it happen, and then building your own team from there. So that's amazing. And speaking of leads and your marketing efforts, so many people, a lot of agents, that are tuning in, are trying to build their book of business, and relying on different, marketing resources and, different efforts. What would you say has attested to your, biggest source of leads? Is, we know digital media, social media, all of that has really been a game changer. Technology has definitely been, a big kind of eye opener for a lot of people to learn and get used to and familiar and comfortable with. What do you use as your biggest source of leads and marketing efforts?
So I have to say that I'm lucky that majority of my leads are referral based, but
Okay.
I do focus a lot on social media. Um, I think something that people don't necessarily know about social media or think about is that building a social media presence is not necessarily about getting brand new business,
Mm-hmm.
or brand new people, right? Complete strangers to reach out to you. And that does happen when, if you're adding value and you're mixing it in with, you know, just life, and, people can relate to you, and it's not all just photos of listings. Um,
Yeah.
but what it does is it allows you to connect with everybody that you've met in your life that is on social media. And they
Mhm.
remember that you're in real estate, even if it's somebody you went to kindergarten with,
Right.
because you are in front of them adding value every day. So they see
Yes.
you as the expert, and they know that you add value through the way that you post or whatever how you engage. And I think that has been a great lead generator for me, just bringing people back into my life who I've
Mhm.
just been connected with on social media, who I haven't seen in 20 years. But you kind of feel like you know people, right? When you're on
Yeah.
social media.
Yeah.
So I would say that that's been a great lead generator. But I would also, suggest to people, if you're going to start using social media as a way to generate business, go back to everybody you know and start following them and engaging with them.
Mhm.
And somebody that were in diapers with, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Just anybody you know, and that's a great way to generate leads.
Awesome. Yeah. And because you can really spread your wings. And like you said, by staying relevant and kind of having that reminder, you're not, just straight up asking for business. But you're putting yourself out there so that when they think of real estate, they think of you. And who better to turn to then, oh, let me reach out to Kelly. Let me find out, oh, my cousin's going to buy, oh, my friend is moving to New York, and then you become, their source, and their expert, for real estate. So I think that's a good point, because a lot of people buy ads and, they showcase their listings, which is great. Obviously, it's a great mechanism. But by, again, adding value and giving that knowledge and educating people on the real estate market and what's going on, it really keeps people, you fresh in their mind, which is awesome.
Yeah, and also adding a little bit of a personal touch to it too. I mean, people think that they have to be 100% professional and just post listing videos and listings. That's not going to get anybody interested.
Right.
People want to connect with you. They want to have something that they can relate to. And
Yes.
they also want interesting things to read about. And I have to be honest with you, one of my most engaged with posts was when I got deported from Turkey. So, post something. I did not commit a crime. Just so you know, I only had 4 months left on my passport, and but they really were interested in that story, because who gets deported from a country when they haven't committed a crime, and it's just an interesting thing to read. And that, so you want to be real.
Yeah.
You want to post about how you turned your bad day into a good day, and don't ever be a Debbie Downer, but make a little joke out of a bad day and just be authentic. And that's what people really want to see.
Yeah. Right. Well, that's what's going to get all the action is not the condo on 57th Street, but you're making headlines with your deportation story. That's really funny. But you're right. Those, and I've heard of the 80-20 rule, and people say, people want to see 80% of your, personal lifestyle, your everyday, like, who's Kelly every day, and then 20% business of your listings and, video tours and whatever it may be. So you're right, because they connect with you as a person, even if they don't know you personally. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think, if you're going to post video tours and stuff online, spend the extra money, get a real production team in there, do something that's badass. I hope I was allowed to say that. And, and, make it something that's, evokes emotion, and show people that you spend the extra time and effort to showcase their homes. You're not just doing the basic, Matterport tour. Not that there's anything wrong with Matterport, but you go the extra mile and you dig into your pocket and spend the money, and you make something that's going to evoke emotion. I mean, residential real estate is emotional. It is.
Yes.
It's a primitive need. It's shelter. So, I mean, maybe like a pied-à-terre isn't a primitive need, but it's still an emotional purchase or sale.
Yes, 100%. Absolutely. I totally agree with that. And it is. It's like what that perception of value and going the extra mile to really bring across the best product, to really showcase it, in a high professional manner, is really going to be, it's worth the extra money and it's worth the extra time, because you're going to get even that much greater feedback in a positive way.
Totally. Show the neighborhood, show the lifestyle. That's what people are buying. They're buying a lifestyle.
So true. So true. So where are you headed, Kelly, as far as in the next 5 years? What are your career goals? What do you hope to achieve? Is there anything that you're, super focused on? What's in store for you?
So just keep networking and doing it on a greater scale. Right now, one of my goals for 2024 is to host events for my clients and customers and contacts at the top 10 ultra high net worth attended events in the country. And then in 2025, do that across the world, and really just expand my network globally. I'm getting licensed in Dubai, Miami. How I'm going to work in those places is I'm going to learn the markets and stay up on the markets, but work with partners that have been doing real estate there for a really long time, which is in the best interest of my buyers and sellers.
Yeah.
So, it's also great to be able to show global listings and show your own listings and my own listings in Manhattan globally, not just in, a international real estate firm's franchise office where there's like a
Right.
brochure table, but actually have a dedicated agent marketing my property. So, those are some of the things that I'm pissed off.
That's awesome. That sounds super exciting. And I just love that you're taking it, global, and you're really, stretching your expertise and stretching your territory and expanding your network, because there's so many people that you can reach and service and fulfill by just going outside of New York City. So that's super awesome. I wish you a lot of success with that. I'm sure you're going to kill it. And that sounds super exciting. Now I'd like to.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to say one.
Oh, you go.
One other thing I was going to say is that I'm changing my team name to make it not my name. Because when I started a team, it was actually you had to use your name in the name of the team. That was the law. Now it's not the law anymore. And I think that it's better for my team members if it's not my name for the future.
Okay. All right. So what's the new name going to be?
I'm still working on picking that out. We should know in 2 weeks.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of titles, I want to know, if you were to write a autobiography on your life and your career, what would the name of your autobiography be?
Oh gosh, what would my oh god, I could tell you this, the subtitle.
Okay.
I'm like the perfectly put together apartment, but there's that one closet where you open it and there's an avalanche. Like you look really put together on the outside, but there's just that one screw. I think that's what makes some successful. And I think you got to be a little crazy sometimes.
Yes.
Everybody says, Kelly, you're so put together, you're so organized. I'm like, if you only saw this one side of my brain, so that would probably be in there somewhere.
Okay. All right. So super structured with a little bit of messiness on the side. I love it. We all have to embrace that messy side a little bit, because you can't keep it, buttoned up 24/7 all the time. You got to let loose a little bit.
Absolutely.
Very cool. I love it. Now, for anybody that's, getting started in real estate, if you were to look back 18 years from now and say, I wish I would have known this. And if I really, this is my biggest lesson, and this is the one thing that I wish I would have known 18 years ago, what would you say?
I think it's just really nurturing relationships, again, being kind, and also negotiating from a place of empathy. Okay. Like we've discussed, real estate is an emotional purchase or sale most of the time when it's residential. And it's a different way of negotiating. You have to empathize with both sides and really bring people together rather than tearing them apart and causing a fight. And I think that's probably what you do as a successful real estate attorney, is you work to bring people together rather than fight.
Yes.
Like you would as a divorce attorney or something different, right? It's a different type of industry. And I think empathy is really important. Empathy with boundaries is really important.
Yes, so true. No, that's great advice. And that really goes a long way, because there's some, I see it happen just in my work as well. There's just some people that are just hotheads and they blow off the handle. And it's like, look, we're in this, transaction for the benefit of our clients to get us to the closing table. There's no reason to, to like just, throw out threats and I'll see you in court and all of that. For what? It's like, it doesn't need to be like that. And diplomacy is so important. And yes, that empathy and mutual respect. I could not agree more with you. So very great lesson learned for everybody out there that's listening. And Kelly, if anybody wanted to connect with you directly and reach out to you, what's the best way for them to contact you?
Yeah, so my website is kellyrobinsonnewyork.com or kelly.robinson@compass.com or Kelly Robinson New York on Instagram, all spelled out.
Fantastic. Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's such a pleasure having you here, and looking forward to seeing you in the real world very soon. And happy holidays.
Likewise, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
You've been tuning into Real Estate Powerhouse live on Tab Talks with your host attorney, Taliya Bashani. For more information, please visit tali360.com. You can watch this show streaming live on StreamYard and available across all social media outlets, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Instagram, Facebook Live, and more. Stay tuned for next week's episode. Thank you for your positive feedback, comments, and questions, and please share this show with your network.